Hey there, happy day 8 of 'Tis the Season, 12 days of holiday scrapping. Starting to wind down, getting into the home stretch. Today my guest is Christina, and she and I did a collaboration a couple months ago with a different group of YouTubers, and I just love her channel and some of her videos, so I asked her to join us, and I'm so glad she did. Wait do you see her take on the number 8 today. I thought it was very creative, so go check out her video. So my take on the number 8 was to use 8 photos, and I am using 8 photos from Christmas morning. So when I think of Christmas morning, I think of chaos and piles and mounds of wrapping paper and tissue paper and a mess, pretty much. Is that how it is at your house? Because that sure is how it is at my house. But it's wonderful. We have a great time. Actually, the kids are really good. They don't really tear into things. They really take time and open presents, but they have to learn to put the wrapping paper in the trash. Anyway, when I was thinking of wrapping paper, I thought I wanted to do a background that kind of looked like torn wrapping paper. So I am taking a whole bunch of prints that I picked out. I also really wanted to focus on traditional colors on this page. So I really wanted to bring in reds and greens. So I'm going to rip a whole bunch of strips of paper, and I really wanted the white edges to show because, again, I wanted it to look like torn wrapping paper. So that's what I have here. I have a couple pieces in there. The bottom one is from Basic Gray. There's one from Chamel. There's one from October. There's a couple there from October Afternoon. There's one from Ellie Studio. So I have a whole mix of papers that I've gone through and picked out. The other thing I knew I wanted to use was this big number 25, which is from a piece of October Afternoon paper. So I'm going to use that 25 and make it a big focal point of my page. So just a couple more strips, and I'm kind of happy with that. I have to say that, like I said, I wanted this page to kind of reflect the chaos and busyness. So it is a little bit busy for me. There's a lot of patterns going on, especially with a lot of the little photos. It's a little difficult to, the photos don't stand out as much as I would like them to, but it does convey the feeling that I was going for. So to help them stand out a little bit more from the background, I actually got some tissue paper because I thought, with the wrapping paper, to actually use some tissue paper, that would be fun. So this is actually like tissue paper that I bought to wrap presents with. So I am just tearing it there. It's a little difficult to tear exactly how you want it, but it helps soften the background right behind the photos a little bit, and helps make the photos stand off against the background. So I'm just going to tear a couple more pieces just to make them fit better. Oops, I hit my camera there. And I'm going to check out a couple other pieces of tissue paper on the bottom and the top underneath those layers of those strips of paper. Okay, just a few more pieces of tissue paper, and I think that's good. So now to work with this tag, I went through my actual Christmas ribbon stash. I'm talking about the stuff I actually used to wrap presents with. And I pulled out the good old curling ribbon. And I thought it would be fun to actually use some real Christmas decorations on the page, especially the ribbon, because I'm kind of going with the package theme. So I punched 2 holes in my card so I could thread my ribbon through, and I'm going to tie it in a knot. And then I'm going to actually curl it like you would on a package, using my scissors. So the ribbon is definitely a little long, but I knew, you have to get it a little bit longer to get the good curl. So I do trim down the ribbon a little bit because the strands were just way too long. I love that this number is so big that, I can add things like this, this big kind of chunky ribbon and a couple other embellishments, which you'll see later, and you can still see the number fairly well. I'm going to thread a little bit more ribbon through this, and I kind of want it to spread across the page to make it kind of look like it's wrapped around the page. But it goes underneath the photo a little bit, so you can't really tell that it, it goes completely across the page, but the idea of that is there. I decided that, I'm happy with these strips. I'm going to work with this. So it's time to start gluing some things down here. So I usually use liquid glue, but for the tissue paper, because it's so thin, I decided to use a tape runner and tape my photos to the tissue paper. And this is I actually really like this tape runner. It's a thermo web one, and I think the adhesive is really good on it, and it glides very easily. So I really like using that tape runner when I do use a tape runner. Okay, just gonna layer these papers. Notice I'm only putting a little bit of glue like on kind of some of the edges of these because I was thinking that perhaps I might want to tuck some things into the layers, but I don't really end up doing that too much because it's already very busy, and I thought adding too many things between those kind of layers was just going to be too much. Okay, so I'm going to glue this whole kind of photo set down here. And now it's time to, I guess a little bit more tissue paper first. Yep, and then a little bit more, or adding on this this tag now. And I'm going to kind of just trim the edges of the ribbon and kind of tuck it around and tape it. So I noticed that all of my photos that I chose for this page are the portrait view, which, you know, they're up and down like vertical photos. And I notice on my phone I take a lot of pictures that are vertical just because you're holding your phone that direction, when normally with like my my camera, most of my photos are horizontal or landscape oriented. So this is kind of different. I was thinking kind of like film strip, but these photos are different or oriented a little bit differently, so it doesn't look exactly like a film strip, but you kind of still get the same idea. So I'm just digging through my sticker stash and trying to find some phrases and stickers that I want to add onto my photos. And I change this a lot. I do put a couple things down and take them up, but the whole time I'm doing this, I'm really thinking, how can I make those photos stand out more? And when I look at the final product, it's really, I mean, they do definitely stand out, but it's really, really busy. I really like to focus on my photos a lot, but like I said, it's really busy, but it's okay because you kind of get the idea. Okay, so I taped that down, and I'm going to kind of speed this up a little bit here because it's just me fiddling around with this ribbon and then going through a couple other things and deciding what I'm going to use and where. I wanted to bring in a little bit more green to this card. So I am going to put the word Christmas on there in these dark green letter stickers from Ellie's Studio. And it picks up the dark green in a couple of the other, well, especially that bottom pattern paper. Plus I had that circle that I put above my photos, and that had a dark green border on it. So this kind of helps tie it in. And I think the green really makes it down there in the bottom. So I just used my ruler there to kind of, because this was kind of a longer word, to make sure that the placement was right in the middle. And I love, again, that you can still see the 25 very clearly, even though I just put another word on top. So that came out well. Okay, so I stitched down the left-hand side with some red and green threads. And I feel that helps draw your eye over to the left a little bit and really grounds those photos for sure. And I took off a couple of the stickers I had put on those photos, and I'm going to put a couple other border stickers on instead, again to kind of frame these photos a little bit more and make them more stand out a little bit more. I've brought in a little bit of blue. These little acrylic pieces are from Pink Fresh Studio, and they're little presents, which again I thought was appropriate for my theme. And I pulled out a little chipboard tag from this old pack I have, chipboard, that says Season's Greetings, and I'm going to tie that to the ribbon on the number 25. Because I had those little blue presents and that little blue tag, I was trying to find some blue to kind of bring in over towards my photos. So I picked this little phrase sticker that says, "May your days be merry and bright." It's a little bit lighter blue than the tag and the presents on the 25 card, but it's fine. It still brings in a little bit of blue. So I thought that I needed something in the top right corner because it was just kind of empty up there. A lot of white space, especially since the top piece of pattern paper is kind of that off-white. I just thought it was too white up there. So I tried tucking in this dark green tag, which is actually from the Schmel line, which now that I look at it on the video, it does look cute there. But I felt it took away a little bit from the 25 tag. But I definitely want to put something up there because I felt it was too empty. So I'm going to tuck this tag over here behind this little cluster instead to help that stand out a little bit better as well. Then I'm going to grab a blue tag as well and bring a little bit more blue up into that corner over there on the top left and kind of just add a little bit more to that cluster. Okay, so I'm still dealing with trying to put something up in the top left corner. I finally decide on fussy cutting out some holly pieces, and this is a piece of paper from October Afternoon. And I'm going to cut out 3 of them to make my visual triangle with holly. So I put the one in the top right there over the tissue paper and the top piece of pattern paper I have. I put a little one over here by the tag and that little cluster I have on the left. And then I'm going to put a third one down by my number 25. I'm going through this process really fast because it took me a little while to fussy cut out that holly. Okay, I've rearranged a few tiny things, those presents on the 25 tag. I'm going to leave the holly there. I'm just going to add one little strip of white, a little white scallop border underneath the photo, again to help that stand out a little bit more. And that's about it. Here's my finished page, my finished very busy Christmas morning page. I did add a little bit of twine to the tag up the top. There's a nice layer of the card, which I do love, really love that 25 card. That's probably my favorite part of this page. So thanks so much for joining me for day 8. Go check out Christina's page as well. Thank you so much. Happy holidays, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 9.